Russell Norman.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Mr Speaker, I rise on behalf of the Green Party to send our love and our thoughts to the people of Canterbury and the people of Ototahu. The Green Party has just recently managed to reopen our office down there, which was originally inside the zone, but we were down there yesterday and the building's still in one piece, and so we were able to start work again, which was great. The Green Party, of course, will be playing our role. My colleague Kennedy Graham, whose office it is down there currently, and he's been playing his role along with our staff in trying to help the people of Canterbury during this time. I think one of the issues that I totally agree with Amy Adams, and I think she hit the nail on the head when she told us that it wasn't just about the earthquake, the one earthquake, it was about the ongoing tremors that have continued since that time. And certainly the people that I talked to last night, that they found that extremely unnerving, those ongoing tremors. And the experience overseas is that those tremors continue for some months. Mr Speaker, nonetheless, it became very clear in talking to people in Canterbury that people are also looking ahead, and people's mind is very much on the rebuilding phase. It's both on getting through the current crisis and then looking forward to getting on with the building. And I think that there are a number of issues that have come up that we need to start thinking about as a parliament and the government needs to start thinking about. Some of those issues are around how we're going to deal with some of the suburbs which seem to be particularly hard hit by the earthquake because they were built on wet sand. Particularly the eastern suburbs, have been particularly hard hit, and there are, I think the Mayor Bob Parker quite rightly has raised some difficult questions that we need to address about when we rebuild in Christchurch, will we be rebuilding in those areas that have performed particularly poorly during the earthquake? Or should we make decisions that those are areas that, because they're clearly earthquake prone, we need to look at how we're going to address those differently, whether that's paying out the people that currently have land there. It's a bit unclear at this stage whether it's a green zone in those areas, but we do need to put on the table the question of what do we do about those particular areas, and the people of Christchurch are already having that discussion. Mr Speaker, the other discussion that is going on in Christchurch at the moment, which I think is quite interesting, is the discussion around sustainability and rebuilding. There was a letter in this morning's press, for example, from Ray Gennett, and he said that building Christchurch must not involve cutting corners and that new buildings should be warm, light and energy efficient. I think that as we enter the discussion about the rebuilding, those questions are going to come to the fore. The modernisation of buildings when we are rebuilding, I think needs to be something that we put centre as part of the discussion. I also think the protection of heritage is a real concern for many people in Christchurch. Christchurch has previously lost quite a lot of its heritage buildings, and many people are concerned about the potential loss of further heritage buildings and the desperate need to protect whatever heritage can be protected in order to protect the unique character of Christchurch. So that we don't just get tilt slab buildings going up all over the show, but we protect as much of the heritage as we possibly can. And then the next step is about pulling together a plan for how Christchurch will be rebuilt, the missing pieces of Christchurch. And that plan needs to involve the community in the discussion. And so I think many people in Christchurch, well, they're concerned about the current situation, they are looking forward and want to participate in the planning and decision-making process about how Christchurch will be rebuilt and those buildings, particularly the major buildings that will be rebuilt. And there's clearly a key role there for the community and councils, but also for those who have expertise, whether it is in architecture or planning or heritage or in sustainable building, to play a key role in that process. Mr Speaker, the other issue that repeatedly came up in my discussions with people in Christchurch was also around the role of regulation. People were very grateful when comparing their experiences with Haiti and other countries that have had similar earthquakes, that the role of regulation, particularly those established after the Napier earthquake, but also since then, in making sure that our buildings perform well under earthquake conditions. And that is one of the issues that I think we can learn from this experience. So I think, well, it's important that we address the issues that are of the day. It's also critical we look forward into how we're going to rebuild Christchurch.
Joe Goodhue.